Well, Rahul, what I want to say is, looking at all these pictures and also listening to the debate so far, is that just remind the members of parliament and members of legislative assembly that the credibility of the entire political class in our country is perhaps at the lowest today. They need to remember that these sorts of actions are just absolutely increasing disenchantment amongst people. As a civil society person, as a citizen of this country, I think all of us are ashamed to see these sorts of acts happening in the parliament, in legislative assemblies. There have to be ways brought in to control these, and the parliament and the legislative assemblies need to function. I'm sorry, but most people will not even agree that it's a functioning parliamentary democracy today. The number of disruptions we have seen in the last few years, it's a day of coalition governments. Now today this is happening to the UPA government, tomorrow the dispensation might change. This is the same thing that's going to be repeated in the coming terms. What are we looking forward to in a parliamentary democracy? Even people like us, who have tremendous faith in institutions of democracy, are left completely disenchanted. I think it's important for political parties across the board, in the states and at the center, to recognize that they are there to do a job. They are there to make sure that they legislate. There are people who are getting killed for exposing corruption. Whistleblowers, they are not being protected. Why? Because they don't pass a bill. There are people whose grievances, millions of them, who are not being heard because they are not legislating. There are people who are having to face atrocities, SCSTs, because they are not legislating. They have to really introspect and think that, is this what they were elected by the people of this country for? And I'm sorry, but this is what I also call anarchy.
You're calling this anarchy, and it absolutely is. In KT Rama Rao, we're seeing no remorse across the political divide, Rahul, except for the comments made by Dr. Singhvi. There is no sense of introspection, no sense of remorse. I want to remind you of what happened on the 23rd of January when your MLAs created a ruckus in the house. The TRS several of them came to blows. 15 TRS MLAs were suspended over ruckus in the Andhra Assembly. Today you may pontificate against what people from Simandra are doing, but you've been as guilty of the same crimes in the past, Rahul. Mr. Rao. I'm coming to you, Dr. Singhvi. Mr. KT Rama Rao first.
Well, Rahul, couple of things to begin with. Yes, all political parties today in this country are definitely, none of us, in fact, can take a holier than thou posture. There are two aspects to this, Rahul. We, as politicians and as political parties and public representatives, live in a world of instant gratification, where exhibitionism, sensationalism gets the eyeballs. You could say, you're playing up these videos for the last half an hour. You could say you're putting us all to shame.
Join the film industry.
You're trying to,
there's Sunny Leone. I don't know if you've heard of her. She strips for a living. Now our Netas are doing the same thing. If sensationalism is what you crave, join the porn industry.
Rahul, the problem is you seem to be very much in love with your own voice, and you're the one who's talking the most. Please let the guests also talk, please. My request to you, Rahul, is, Rahul, we live in a world of instant gratification where exhibitionism, sensationalism seems to be the order of the day, where only exhibitionism gets all of us on the television channels and, makes them heroes or villains. As they say, one man's revolutionaries, another man's terrorists. It's that sort of a world we live in, a very polarized world. So therefore, you have legislators, parliamentarians resorting to all sorts of
You're giving us a sociological context. Do you have a solution? Anjali Bharadwaj says the credibility of the political class is at the lowest ever. This is anarchy. Do you have a solution? Or will you only give us a context like everyone else?
I'm not supporting anything that we have done or anything anybody has done today. But the point I'm trying to make is, you cannot be purely talking about a symptom today. It's not just symptoms that you need to address. It's also the roots. For example, I'll just give you one quick example. Today, on the prime time, you're playing up these videos. You're not talking about one of the very important bills that the Rajya Sabha has passed today. It's about the street hawkers, the street vendors. Nobody's talking about it. Where there has been discussion, debate, dissent, and a proper bill has been passed, which affects vast many lives. None of the TVs are picking it up.